We're here in Astley Park, and I've got to say, with the museum behind, isn't it good? We're at the stable block, and we've got these fantastic cannons that are back in Chorley, repatriated back to the rightful place, and that is in the home of Chorley. And I've got to say, thanks to British Aerospace for repatriating them back into Chorley, also to Chorley Borough Council for the renovation and actually bringing them back, and of course to everybody who's been involved with Royal Ordnance, because these wouldn't ever have been presented to the factory if it wasn't for the success of what Chorley did and the role that it played, better than I know, in the role that you played, ensuring that Royal Ordnance ensured our democracy in this country was kept, and the way that you successfully produced the ammunition and munitions that was needed right through until its closure. And unfortunately, just happened to be, didn't it, whatever British Aerospace said, a land value in Chorley was much greater than the sheep field in Wales. So we always knew which was going to close. Even though we were a much better factory, we were much better equipped, and we got the best workforce anyhow. So it's a big thanks for the role that you played, and obviously it's great to see that the cannons are back. The only thing that's missing is the cannonballs. As you know as well as I do, the creation of Royal Ordnance was because the cannonballs wouldn't fit that. And that's why we had to have Ordnance, the making sure that everything was compatible. So we're still trying to find out where are our cannonballs. But thanks very much, rather than get wet. Thank you for all what you've done. Thank you. These cannons were presented to Chorley factory by Royal Ordnance, whose headquarters were based at Buckshaw Village, which is now long gone. But these were the cannons that were outside the steps when you arrived. Along with the cannons was a set of cannonballs all stacked up. And the thing about the cannonballs was they were too big for the cannon. And that's the history of Royal Ordnance, because what would happen is you'd have a cannon, the ammunition would arrive, and they wouldn't fit the cannon. So the cannonballs became useless, and that's how Royal Ordnance came into existence, to make sure that everything was compatible, so that propellant would actually deliver the right ammunition. And that's why that these cannons play not only to mark the 25 years of the Chorley factory at that time, but it was actually to ensure the history is being told about Royal Ordnance within these particular cannons. So all we've got to do now is get the cannonballs back. They were removed because the factory was being closed, the headquarters were being sold off, and Glascoyd was the new headquarters for Royal Ordnance, and they thought that the cannons should go to Glascoyd. And I said, but this isn't right. This cannot be right. So I got into British Aerospace and said, whoa, hang on a minute. The history of these cannons isn't at Glascoyd, but at Chorley. We want our cannons back. And of course, like everything, English Heritage stepped in and said, oh no, these cannons can't be moved, they're part of the history. Well, in which case, how did they escape Chorley? And of course, the answer was, okay then, let's put them back to where they were. And that's how we've got them back in Chorley. So they disappeared, but they've now reappeared. So it's a big thanks. I've got to say, we've got to give a big thanks to British Aerospace for giving them back to Chorley, but also to the council who collected them from Glascoyd and refurbished them. And of course, they're in a great setting here in Astley Park at the Chorley Remembers Museum. In fairness to them, when I met with British Aerospace, they were very good about it and said, yeah, I'm sure we can sort that. And they did, along with some other gifts that they've made to us. So I've got to say, British Aerospace have been very good to us. They were very helpful with the Chorley Pals Memorial. They've been helpful with the cannons and some other bits and bobs that we've been given as well. So I think we've got a great relationship with them, and may that continue as we ask for a little bit more in the future. Well, here we are, over 17,000 people through the museum in 12 months. That in itself is a fantastic tribute to what's here. And I think it's not just about the Chorley people remembering about the project, about their families, but it's about people from all over the country who want to come and experience the Chorley Remembers. They want to see what we've done. And I think it's a tribute to the trustees. I've got to say, they have played their part. Without the trustees, this would never have happened. So it's a big thanks to the trustees for making this happen in Chorley.